was it? Do you think that drove you to want to be a musician?
Well,
have an interest.
Music I didn't choose music, it chose me. At 3 years old, you don't make any conscious decisions like that. So music chose me, I didn't make the choice.
Subconscious?
No, just my uncle was teasing this little 3-year-old boy. I bet you can't. He was sitting at the piano, I bet you can't. I never sat down at the piano in my life at that time. I took a long time to decide now, 3 years old, you know, it took me a long time.
Yeah.
You know. But in any case, he was, I bet you can't, the rest is history. I sat down and played note for note, everything he played.
And he said that's...
Well, he almost fainted.
Really?
And the rest of the family did too, and that's why I say music chose me, I didn't choose it. You don't make any conscious decision at 3 years old. There are a few cases like that. Earl Garner, my wonderful Pittsburgh, and possibly my biggest inspiration, he started playing at 3 too. But it doesn't happen every day. There are other instances where children start very young, but 3 years old, that's very young.
Yeah.
That's almost beyond or before the age of recollection.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have too much recall at
2
years old, if any. But I do recall at 3 sitting down playing what my uncle was playing on the piano. Those who want to enter the jazz field or the American classical music field. You have the new school. In Manhattan, you have this school, that school. And you have children coming from all sectors of the world. Russia,
Asia.
Japan,
Asia.
Brazil, to study this music. So this music, the state of the music, of our music is still one that's fascinatingly strong.
And powerful.
Because it's so potent.
Yeah.
In spite of the non-promotion of same, it keeps growing.
It keeps attracting people, doesn't it? It keeps attracting people from around the world.
There's an old expression, they'll be singing, whistling Sophisticated Lady long after they've forgotten some of these other songs. They'll be singing whistling Duke's Sophisticated Lady.
Yeah.
So it's interesting how the good will endure no matter what. That Gershwin and the other writers wrote, which were, they're American classics too, but they never intended their compositions to be interpreted beyond their wildest dreams. Sarah Vaughan sings things that are beyond the wildest dreams of the writers, and Charlie Parker played things as April in Paris. When he played that, You Were in Paris in April. Yeah. And so on and so on. John Coltrane's biggest hit, My Favorite Things, come on. Yeah. That's his biggest hit. So the wonderful thing, prior to our getting our own compositions on the road, like Horace Silver has done very wisely. Horace has a body of work all his own. He had some instances, rare, about covering some other songs, but very rare. But prior to our composing, like I present 80% of my music now, as opposed to 20% of other artists, other composers. I used to be 20% of my music, 80%, but now it's shifted to 80% Mr. Jamal and 20%. But before that, we would interpret songs beyond the wildest dreams. That's what has made up the so-called jazz phenomena. I mean, Lester Young, Polka Dots and Moonbeams, when he played that, come on. Nat Cole's Body and Soul, Lester Young's Body and Soul. Comet Records, Art Tatum playing all those wonderful things, Humorous, Flying Home, all those things that Tatum, come on. And people are awestruck. People like Horowitz, awestruck by the talent of Art Tatum. And no one plays like Art Tatum today. Yeah. You can try, but you'd be better off being yourself. Yeah. Forget about it. Because Art Tatum's, that's another niche, that's another dynamic altogether.
Well, duplication is one of the worst things you can do.
Yeah.
It's also one of the worst things you can do to yourself.
Every sector of society. If you want to sell Toyota, get the music. If you want to sell Listerine, get the music. In fact, I made a Listerine commercial years ago. If you want to sell this, get the music. Now, I don't agree with all the music. That's why I'm so happy I have a mute button. Without that mute button, forget about it.
You throw the TV out, wouldn't you?
Please. It's an insult.
Yeah.
They could have the same sales results by putting music on instead of some of the stuff that they are pitching on these commercials. I mean, it's the decibels are way up there.
Yeah.
It's an insult to your intelligence, some of the stuff that's put on commercials. Really.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope it's obvious, but I don't know, Mr. McLean, if it's obvious or not.
Could be, and it could be too late anyway.
Because, you know, they can they can sway the public any way they want. I'm sorry, that's the way it is.
Yeah.
They can take this stuff and brainwash you.
Yeah. And make it work good for them.
It's obvious to you, obvious to me, hopefully. To the discerning group, yeah, but everyone doesn't go for it. Some people don't use that mute button.
They just let it...
Let it ride. Until they're crawling up the wall somewhere.
Yeah. Wriggling in pain, huh? It's music.
That's right. Well, like Duke says, only two types of music, good and bad. And he was right. There's bad opera, there's good opera, there's bad ballet, good ballet, there's bad jazz, good American classical music, whatever you want.
Yeah.
There's good American classical music, it's bad European music, European classical is good, and
so
Duke
on
says,
and so on.
two types of music, good and bad.
Yeah.
And there's no such thing as old music.
Yeah, it doesn't exist.
Otherwise, why would 6,000 kids be trying to learn Mozart right now? Just in this area. Just in this area. Not Japan, and not in other parts of Europe and America. So there's no such thing as old music, right?
It's always hip.
Okay. They're programming Mozart right now. For next season, Beethoven. No such thing as old music.
Yeah.
It's either good or bad.
That's right. Yeah. And this idea of old and new, I mean, that's another division, isn't it? To sort of, you know, it gives you the power then to say, well, kids, don't touch that because, you know, it's made by somebody else.
How about that?
What are your thoughts regarding Miles Davis' compliments to your work? What are your how do you view that?
Well, I think it was a mutual admiration society. I admired Miles, he admired me, and good things came from it, and he ended up incorporating many of the things we do in his group, and the proof of that is Miles plus 19, New Rumba, Gil arranged based on my ensemble's record, the record we made, and arrangement that is, and other things that Miles did incorporated in his group. Red Gardens made a record called Ahmad Blues, one of my copyrights I wrote back in 1948, and it was used in Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf on Broadway for 2 years. Just 30 seconds of Ahmad Blues performed by Miles Davis, Red Garland at the piano. So Miles was a legendary figure, still sells 5,000 units every month. So he was a phenomenal talent, and I accept the fact he admired me, and he accepted the fact that I admired him. All good things came from it, for both of us. But as far as working with Miles, a lot of people no, we were both leaders, and I'm still leading. And I had no desire to work with any other configuration outside of my own.
Yeah.
And same way with Miles. Miles had his own group, and out of his group came many, many giants. Chick Corea, Keith Jarrett, Cannonball Adderley, Bill Evans. A lot of great people came out of Miles's. Tony Williams, goes on and on. He had an uncanny knack for finding great talent, like Duke had that knack too, of finding that talent for talent. And Miles, great musician, and historic one.